Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm deeply in love with all things beautiful that make life bloom. I believe that with every step we take, we can make life grow stronger. Some think that's a struggle, but I think that it can be done in all sorts of fun and enjoyable ways. That is why I started to film the Lifekeeper's Diaries. Here is where I share my views of beauty, my ways of giving back to life, and my sparkles of creativity. I think those are exactly the ways of how to fill life with joy and love for ourselves and others. That is the way of a Lifekeeper. The Valentine's Day started off with bright sun and wind. It was freezing, but oh so beautiful, so we decided to go for a trip. We picked a destination that was still deeply covered in snow. We went to Planica and the Tamar Valley. The mosaics on the chapel were done by Father Mirko Ivan Rupnik, who also created the mosaics in the Pope's personal chapel in the Vatican City. By the entrance to the chapel there are tablets with names of all people that died in the surrounding mountains.
We happily realized that the restaurant at the mountain cottage is open for takeaway, so we decided to have some warm lunch. I went for štrukli, which is a very famous traditional dish in Slovenia. They come in a form of a roll in different sizes and with various fillings.
So at the moment I'm in one of the most famous sports centers in Slovenia, but this is actually one of the most famous Nordic centers in the whole world as well, because behind me here there's one of the biggest ski jumps in the whole world. I think at the moment it's the second biggest in the world, but for quite a long time it was actually the biggest one. So for quite a long there was also the world record in the longest jumps here, but that's not here anymore as well. And there are one of the main competitions happening here, and I think it's the last competitions in the whole yearly season for ski jumps. But the most exciting part is this one. It doesn't really look anything special from the outside, but the thing is, this is the new part, and we are actually standing on the rooftop of a huge hall where you can do the Nordic skiing all year round. So now this is all covered in snow, so you can actually do it all around here. But even in the summertime, the professionals are having their trainings under the place where we are now standing. So there's really a big hall with artificial snow, and then the tracks are going around this place, and you can do the training all year round. But we didn't come here today for this sports center, because I'm not really a big fan of sports events or all these gadgets. I love the nature. And if you go in this direction where we went today, so we've already come back, but before this was all lit by really beautiful sun, So you can see that there's not even a cloud in the sky. And you have a valley running all along these high mountains. So this is one of the most famous valleys in Slovenia. It's called Tamar, and it's famous among people all year round. So in the summertime you can just walk along the valley. You can go up into the mountains, but they are quite dangerous here. You can go to the waterfall, which is really quite cute. Or just enjoy nature. But in the winter time it's really famous for sledging. So we're quite sad when we realized that we came here and we didn't take the sledge with us. But we did come here with the sledge a few years ago. But we didn't come here in the middle of the day. We came here in the middle of the night, and it was a moonlit night. There was full moon, and it was absolutely magical because this valley gets covered by snow, and then it was fresh snow that was still on the treetops, and this was just glittering like the most beautiful fairy tale land, and it was like having millions of Christmas trees. It was just some of the most amazing sights, and then all the stars shining in the sky, and then the land glittering in moonlight. It was just, you cannot even describe it by words. Yeah, so if you ever come to Slovenia, I absolutely recommend this place in the summertime or in the wintertime, because both is just magical. It's the day after the Valentine's Day, and I'm here with my very lovely bouquet of flowers. I really like this combination of just a touch of green but the rest in gentle pink color. I really love them. So these flowers were actually bought to me as kind of Valentine's flowers because, well, they were sold as Valentine bouquet. The reason, the true reason why we bought them was that we needed to go to the store to get some groceries before the Valentine's, because the Valentine's was on Sunday, and now just recently all the shops are closed on Sundays here in Slovenia, so we couldn't get any groceries on Sunday. So that evening, it was already evening, I saw that there are still many flower arrangements left that were meant for Valentine's gifts, but nobody would buy them because it was already quite late in the day. So I said, well, I'm gonna save at least one of them, because I just always feel so sorry when I see so many flowers sold in the markets and nobody buys them, and it kind of breaks my heart. So I decided, well, we're gonna take one arrangement and we're gonna enjoy it for the day or two, because they are really beautiful, and then maybe I'm gonna make myself a head crown out of flowers. Yeah, so I'm really happy that I'm doing this year, because I've wanted to do it for quite a long time already and just never got myself into doing it. And now I have such a beautiful material to make it from, and yeah, well, even if I'm not really celebrating Valentine's ever, it's about love. So what's really actually not to celebrate? Love is always to be celebrated. I'm a huge fan of love. So yeah, I feel really good about that. And also it's Carnival, so those things are just coming together in such a wonderful manner. So why not just embracing it and do something lovely out of it? And you know, anyway, it's the end of winter, and even though it's really quite freezing here in Slovenia these last days, it's amazingly beautiful with clear blue skies and bright sun shining, and you know, the birds are singing so lovely, so they're really telling us, well, get ready for spring and the rebirth, and just support it in whatever way you can. And yeah, I'm into that, so let's see what happens. So I am so happy with how this turned out. I'm really pleased that it brings me so much joy, but it also brings me joy the thought that these flowers, they wouldn't be loved by anyone, because probably if I didn't buy them, nobody would. And now they have brought so much love and so much pleasure to somebody. Well, to me, but hopefully also to you. I came back to my hometown, to Kranj today, because yesterday I was at my boyfriend's place and I decided to use this headpiece while I go to the center of the town and then film this here in the nature. And why did I go to the center of the town? Well, because there we have this really cute little store that sells the local produce and the healthy stuff, and I got myself some donuts. But I didn't want to have the classic donuts because they're too oily for me and I don't like the taste of oil that remains in my mouth after I eat a donut. So I got myself a healthier version made out of spelt flour, and it's actually baked, it's not fried. But why am I telling you all this about donuts? Well, because they are very, very traditional here in Slovenia on the Carnival day. You should eat donuts and you should eat pork. Well, I only got myself donuts because I don't eat pork, I'm a vegetarian. But in the old days there was actually a saying that nobody should be hungry on the day of the carnival. So that meant that humans shouldn't be hungry, but also that animals and the spirits shouldn't be hungry. And that tells us that in the old days people would also give offerings to the spiritual world, because they knew that they needed all the support to get well throughout the year. And of course, the help from the spiritual world was absolutely crucial. And if anybody would be hungry on this day, that meant that probably throughout the year that there would be some problems like hunger, like stock getting ill, like having bad crops, and all of that was a huge, huge problem, not just some small inconvenience, because of course people couldn't just go into store and buy whatever they wanted from wherever they wanted. But if I lived in the old days, I definitely wouldn't be wearing such a lovely headpiece on this day, and I actually wouldn't be wearing any mask at all, because only men were allowed to do that. And why wouldn't they be wearing any flowers or anything gentle and beautiful? Well, because all the masks were supposed to be scary or strong or loud or something that would give these men strength to enter the spiritual world. So the researchers say that there are two possibilities of why were the masks the way they were. And one is that probably in the old days they believed that the person that wore a mask was able to enter the spiritual world, or to at least contact the spiritual world. And if you did that, you know, spirits, they can be mighty, they can be scary, they can be even dangerous sometimes. So you definitely wouldn't go there and contact them in something gentle and something lovely. You needed to have something powerful and something that would protect you from the spirits in case they wanted to harm you. And the other belief is that probably in the old days they believed that the spirit of an ancestor was able to enter only a person that was wearing a mask. And again, you know, that can be dangerous, so you should have something that was able to protect you and not something that was all lovely and all gentle. So that's a bit something about the old days, about the traditional ways. Of course, today it's nothing like that. You can wear whatever you want, so we have loads of princesses and Elsas and Spider-Man. Well, Spider-Man probably could enter the spiritual world and be safe there, safer than me with this headpiece. But anyway, we have a few places in Slovenia where they still do it in quite a traditional way, but I can't really tell you much about it because I've never visited those festivals and those parades. So maybe some other year when we can do that again, because this year, of course, everything is put on hold, so you cannot have any traditional parades and gatherings. But maybe some other year I'll go and I'll be able to also make some video footage on that as well, because they are really quite interesting and they are very specific to this place, but unfortunately I don't really feel strong in knowledge about those, so I will just reserve myself from saying anything that would be wrong. So yeah, today I'll just enjoy this lovely weather and the sight of my headpiece, and I'll have some donut because, well, that's gonna be tasty. So have a lovely, lovely day and see you next time.